Hello, welcome to World Of Warcraft. My name is Vanish, and today we are talking about gearing in World of Warcraft and is it too easy now? Now, I've been playing the game on and off for a long time. I started leveling in Vanilla, didn't finish it, started a bit more in TVC, didn't finish it, finally got to max level in beginning of Wrath and started raiding pretty much straight away, and I've been raiding since. We cleared Heroic, Ice Crown, all Heroic in Cataclysm, all Heroic in Mr. Pandaria, and when they brought Mythic in at the end, Mythic, WoD, Legion, so on and so on and so on. Basically, a lot of raiding. And the one thing that was always key, there was a few things that always happened. You had to get your force set, and you had to get any kind of important weapons and trinkets. They were your priority things to get. And it would take a while to get that stuff. It was never an immediate thing that you'd get. Now, 3 weeks ago, patch 10.2 dropped. The new raid opened and the new Mythic Plus started. By the end of the first week of Mythic Plus, we were doing 16s and 18s. Now, the guild I'm in, they just basically do Heroic. They might do a few Mythic, then they break until the next season. That's basically how they raid. They don't push hard. They clear the content and then basically go do other stuff until the new game comes in. We're 3 weeks into the raid and we're basically at that point already. The first week we cleared normal and I think it was 6 or 7 heroic, because when you raid 2 days, and we only raid for 3 hours a night, so we're not raiding massively hardcore and we're not pushing massively hardcore either. We do take it seriously in the fact that we do our Mythic Plus and try and make sure we're geared as best we can for the raid, but we're not min-maxing super hardcore. It's just really not necessary, to be honest. And what we found is the gear is just too easy to get. Now, bear with me on this, because that might sound a bit daft, but I've got 4 set, and I haven't got a piece of tier from the raid. All my 4 set has come from outside of the raid, which, to me, is bizarre. 4 set was something that you fucking aimed to get. It was something you tried to achieve. It was something you hunted down and you spent weeks clearing the raid to try and get, because that was kind of where you got your maximum power from. And that's kind of when you started reaching the upper echelons of what your character could do. As I said, first week cleared normal and I think it was 5 heroic. The second week we cleared normal and did 8 heroic. We nearly killed Frack. It was just a bit of a fuck up on the seed on the last pull. Otherwise, we'd have had Frack as well. And then coming to this week, we're probably going to clear it nice and easily. But the thing that gets me is the fact that within 2 weeks of the raid, our entire team, except for 2 people, have 4 set. Because it's that easy to get tier pieces now. You get these catalysts, which you can convert your M+ gear. You get curios from doing your Keystone Master. You get curios from killing Farak. There's just endless amounts of gear. Some people jumped up over 20 item levels in a week, which is just insane. To the point where the second week of raiding, we went from progressing on heroic, seeing the fights as they were, learning the fight. We don't watch tactics. We kind of go in and learn it because it's, what's the fun if you already know what's going to happen. To week 2, actually skipping phases, because we geared up that much between week 1 and week 2 that we were actually skipping phases in the fight. We were just pushing DPS that much more because our item level went up so dramatically. Now, back in the day, this never used to happen. You used to have a nice, steady progress path where you would build up your gear and gradually, over a couple of weeks, your entire team would gradually get stronger to the point where you were clearing it easier and easier. There was no 20 item level a week jump, which basically made the entire raid fucking obsolete and easy. To the point where even the gear dropping isn't that great because the M+ gear is so high. But Mythic Pluses aren't easy. In the first week we were doing 16s and 18s, and they were a bit of a challenge, right? Because we're coming out of the previous tier and the gear level wasn't massively high. The old, what was the previous tier, 430ish, so you're doing 430 to 460, 470 content. A week after, doing 16s, and there might as well have been a 2 because there was just nothing to them. Now, for me, I don't know if there's a fix for this. I personally would like to see tier be moved to kind of like the rare item slot. So I would like to see tier removed down to this kind of rare item level where it doesn't just drop constantly. It actually has a lower drop chance. And I would personally like to see curios and catalysts removed at least until halfway through the tier at the minimum, because at the minute it's kind of crazy. I just leveled a paladin last week. I used the end of the 19% bonus and the time walking event to basically power level a paladin. I dinged it on the Saturday. By the Wednesday I was running around at 440 gear because I did one mythic plus and a load of time walking, and I got a drop from that. I got a drop from all the drops from the seeds and the Everbloom event stuff, which I then converted into tier with curios. So it's now got 2 set, even though it's only done 3 mythic plus and it's never been near a raid. And honestly, I just think that kind of stuff is just a bit too easy. They kind of like, it makes the game rushed. And I know they're kind of pushing these quicker raid schedules, but to kind of be running around at 441, 442, just from gear that's basically dropped from time walking, dropped from world event stuff. Yeah, okay, I've upgraded it, but they throw so many flight stones at you that you might as well, right? The rest of this is probably actually from the auction house, because you just buy it from the auction house. It's cheap. It's like 500 gold a piece, and then you get a few bits that drop from the Everbloom events and from your weekly quest, and then your weekly mythic dungeon box, and then you got the fucking vaults. You just throw gear at you. It's the point where the gear actually ends up becoming kind of meaningless, right? I ding this, I went straight into an 8. That's a +8 mythic plus. And okay, you got tank privilege with that, but you're running around in blues doing like keys. Like when you ding, you should be doing mythic 0 +2s, working your way up. Like there should be a progression path. It should be a nice clean progression path is what I'm trying to say. Right now there isn't. You go to the auction house, buy a load of gear, you go straight into mid-level keys. You can even go straight into normal. Like the gear's that powerful, you can just run straight into normal, start raiding straight away. And I understand that there's like, you know, catch-up mechanics to help people get back into the game, but they've made it far too easy for me. The gearing is just way too simple. They need to bring back like some kind of like linear progression path, even out a wee bit more, because right now it just spikes from simple to easy, from like no gear to high gear very, very quickly, with no real progress path to get there. And when you just throw gear at people, it just becomes expected. And we're 3 weeks into the tier and we're basically done with heroic. And if you're only like a normal heroic raider, then you're basically done. If you're a mythic raider, you maybe got a couple of weeks left in it. But the rate they throw gear at you, if you go and do a lot of +18s, +20s, people are doing +20s already. They've cleared +20s easy enough. If you're doing that kind of level, you're going to have Mythic 4 set in a few weeks, because you can just convert those Mythic pieces straight over and go straight in with Mythic 4 set. And it's just then a case of getting best in slot trinkets and a decent weapon, and you know, you're basically good to go at that point. A couple of crafted bits and there's not much more to it. So let me know what you think. Like, to me, I think they've made it a bit too easy to gear. I think tier should be made a bit rarer. I think it should be something that you look for and celebrate a wee bit. I know they kind of made a mockery of it when they removed 4 set and tier set in BFA, was it? Where you had all that fucking Azurite shite. But yeah, let me know what you think. For me, gearing is too easy right now, and it's kind of ruining the longevity of the game. A friend of mine actually came back a couple of weeks ago. He leveled the character, he got fully geared up, went in, cleared normal, was like, you know, he did it in a week. And he's like, he's geared up and raided it in a week, and cleared the content. it's just too simple. There's like nothing to kind of keep you engaged. It is a carrot on stick kind of game where you're basically chasing the carrot, but right now they're basically just fucking throwing carrots at your face, and that's it. Come back in a couple of patches time, see if anything's changed. Because right now the game is in a good place. I just think the raiding needs to be sorted out. It's just a bit too easy to get that gear at the minute. But there you go. Let me know what you think, and I'll get back to the regular mount videos soon.